Hey Dashbacks, what's going on? It's LandonRemixes here, and welcome to my review of the new album from Swedish indie rock band Urban Cone. This one's called Polaroid Memories, and I was getting really anxious to review this, and especially anxious to listen to this. I think I'm a little late getting this review out, but I decided it would be nice to be able to review this. I started listening to Urban Cone a little bit after Porter Robinson's Worlds album dropped, and that's at the point where I decided I think it was a few months after the album release that I was going to listen to all the groups from the album that featured in it, because that particular album had an all-star lineup, and since that album is I want to say a 10 out of 10 for me, I'll get to that in another video where I'm probably going to list all my 10 out of 10s ever that I haven't reviewed before, because I haven't given a new album a 10 out of 10 as of yet, but that might be coming this year, probably will actually. But we'll see. So at that point when the album dropped, I started listening to Urban Cone, I started listening to La Metra, Imaginary Cities, a few of the other collaborators, a little bit of Brianne Duran, who was Owl City's vocalist, and she featured on that album as well. But enough about Worlds, which I've probably talked about in numerous amounts of other reviews. First of all, I'd like to apologize for I'm a little bit stuffy, and allergies and sickness have gotten to me, and it's kind of sucky, but I'm trying my best and trying to get through this. So without further ado, let's get into this review. Now, the thing is, I would have loved to love this album, if I could say that, but overall, I thought, at least in the first half of this record, I thought this album was going to easily be like an 8.5 probably, and these first couple tracks, Weekends and New York, are actually very stellar, shows off their style extremely well. I've never liked the fact that Urban Cone kind of doesn't really have like a unique sound vocal-wise, but I'd love to hear an album of full instrumentals from these guys, because the production and instrumentals on this album are actually really great. It's just the vocals get a little annoying and repetitive, the fact that it's just too generic, and I'd love to love it, but I just can't. And like I said, these first couple tracks kick off really well. I think it's the third track, We Are Skeletons, wasn't really crazy about that. There's a Tove Lo collab on here, which I was actually really hyped for. Vicetone did a remix of it. My favorite producers out there, or one of them at this point, I'm not really sure about who's my favorite right now, but Vicetone did a remix of that I absolutely loved more than the original. I would have loved to see something closer to that style on the record rather than the final product, which I don't really like the chorus instrumentals that much. It doesn't really sound that great to me. It's unique for sure, but just wasn't extremely appealing. Was looking forward to a little more with a collab from Tove Lo. I didn't dislike this song, but I didn't love it. Still, in the first half of this album, most of the tracks are still very nice. In fact, We Are Skeletons I probably like just as much as most of the second half of this record that I didn't really like much at all, and I keep getting this tune stuck in my head. Sadness Disease, and that one is one of the most awesome tracks on the second half of the record, with a very cool melody line and very cool production on this, and I definitely enjoyed that. The last song that I'm going to want to talk about is You Build Your House Out of Cards, and this one's also a very nice track. It's a little more mellowed down than the rest of this album, which I actually liked, and I would have liked to hear a little more diversity, but after, like I said, after this first half of the record, it just gets extremely generic, and I think if they would have compiled those first few tracks along with Come Back to Me and Sadness Disease, this could have been an absolutely stellar EP, like easily a 9 or 10, but because they extended this into a full album and a lot of it just kind of sounds a little bit too similar for my taste, it just really didn't live up to what I was expecting. And although, yes, it's a Porter Robinson collab, and yes, the production and the instrumentation on this is very nice. Vocals get a little repetitive. I'm going to stop repeating myself now at this point, and I'm going to give this record a 5.5. I think it's a little better than not, but since I like basically the first half of this record and then another track, this record's not extremely long. Another reason why it wasn't that great. I only liked about half of it, and it wasn't that great to begin with. So anyway, what'd you guys think about this record? Make sure to check it out if you haven't. They definitely deserve to get a little bit of recognition for the hard work they put into, I think, what is their sophomore record, and they definitely deserve more attention as a band. Hope the best to them, that they'll be able to develop more of a unique sound rather than where they're heading now, which is just kind of a generic indie rock vibe. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Urban Cone, Polaroid Memories. I'll see you guys later.